Hi everyone, we're going to talk about quadrilaterals, and we're going to make a few videos today about quadrilaterals, and the first part is going to be about attributes. I've been looking at your pods, and I've noticed that we've had a little bit of difficulty with this word today, so we're going to talk about it and go over what that actually means. So a quick reminder, quadrilateral is a shape with 4 sides, okay? So I wrote the word 4 above the prefix quad right here. Some examples are shown below that you might be aware of. Okay, we have a trapezoid, a square, rectangle, parallelogram, and then some non-examples. At the beginning of this unit, a lot of you guys said, well, a circle has infinite amount of sides. Actually, it's just one continuous line here. It has to be 4 straight sides here. This is a non-example because it's open as well, and it has a little bit more than 4 sides as well. We have a triangle and an octagon. So quadrilateral has 4 sides. So when we talk about the word attributes, I kind of think of it like reading. It's kind of like a characteristic for a shape, a describing word that we can use for the shape that we're talking about, or our quadrilaterals. So we're going to be talking about these characteristics today. So if we take a look at the square, what do we notice about a square? Well, I see that all 4 of my sides on a square are the same. So my first attribute or describing word for a square would be 4 equal sides. And you guys can take this video and pause it and write notes on a separate sheet of paper if that helps. What I also notice about the square is it has like angles that kind of, you can make squares out of itself. Those are called 90-degree angles, and it's something that you'll learn about in 4th grade. But a 90-degree angle kind of looks like the edge of a piece of paper or this whiteboard right here. So there are 4 90-degree angles. And a square is very special because it also has something called parallel sides. Parallel sides means that there are 2 sides that if you were to continue them forever, that they're never going to touch. So just like a railroad track, if you keep on going forever and ever, this side will never touch with that side. And it has 2 sets of these. So there's that one on that side, and then we have this pair right here on the other side. So it has 2 sets of parallel sides. Take a minute, pause the video, get those notes down, and we're going to talk about the next shape. So the next shape is a rectangle. We have heard of this since kindergarten, and it looks just like a square, but there's just one difference. And if you've noticed that the sides are not all the same distance, and they're not equal. But if you do notice, this side is equal to this side, and this side is equal to this side. So their opposite sides are equal. But you also notice that it has those 90-degree angles just like the square. So we're going to write down 90-degree angles. And we have 4 of those. We also, just like the square, we have those 2 sets of parallel sides, those sides that are never going to touch. Just like a railroad track. Sorry about that. Trying to record and video at the same time. So it has a 90-degree angle, and then 2 sets of parallel sides. Okay. The next shape that we have here is called a parallelogram, and a parallelogram looks just like a sideways rectangle. It's kind of slanted. I noticed that a lot of you guys put a slanted rectangle as your attributes on your Nearpod. That would not be correct on an exam because that's not really an accurate way to describe or a mathematical way that we would describe a parallelogram. So, but it does look like a tilted rectangle if you look at it. But if you notice, it also has those opposite sides that have the equal side lengths, but it doesn't have 4 equal sides like the rectangle. But it has 2 sets of parallel sides, just like the square and the rectangle. So we're just gonna put 2 sets of parallel sides. And we can say opposite sides are equal. Like they're equal length. We have a rhombus down here, which is kind of like that tilted square. Again, that's not an accurate way to call a rhombus. We would not say that on a test because it would not be considered correct. But we can say that all 4 sides, just like the square, are equal. So we have 4 equal sides. We do not have those 90-degree angles in that rhombus. But what we do have, just like all the other shapes, you guessed it, it's the 2 sets of parallel sides, those sides that are never going to touch if you were to extend them. Last but not least, we have something called a trapezoid. Sorry, my trapezoid got a little bit ruined here. A trapezoid is kind of unique because it's the only shape that does not have 2 sets of parallel sides. In fact, it only has 1 set of parallel sides, and that is the top and the bottom here. So it only has 1 set. Also, if you notice with the trapezoid, it doesn't have the 90-degree angles. And I'm going to show you why this is not parallel on that side. Because if you were to continue those lines, it would eventually cross each other like a triangle. So I hope that helps you guys. I'm so sorry that my handwriting is super messy. I'm trying to record and write at the same time. But I hope this helps you guys understand the word attributes. It's those characteristics. Again, I don't want to see on the Nearpod that this is a rectangle. Like, obviously it's a rectangle, but how are we going to describe it? What's its characteristic? It's 90-degree angles, 2 sets of parallel sides, opposite sides are equal. Okay? All right. Thanks so much.